Welcome to the What I Meant to Say podcast. I'm your host, Wendy Jones, and I started these conversations because life doesn't give us do-overs. So this is a space where we get a chance to reflect and tell our story again, with more grace for ourselves, and hopefully make us all better for having listened. On episode 5 this week of the What I Meant to Say podcast, I have the privilege to sit down with LSU Beach Volleyball alums Kristen Nuss and Taryn Kloth. All of my other episodes have been with one person, but these two seem to come together and win together. After an undefeated 2021 season at LSU, they burst onto the professional scene, winning 3 AVP titles in their first season and inspiring us with some of the longest matches of that season too. But what I love most about them are their humble and hardworking ways that make them great ambassadors for the next generation of players. Keep your eyes out for these two for far into the future. They are going to do great things on and off the court. So yeah, welcome to the What I Meant to Say podcast. Thank you guys for coming today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
I love this. And although I want to talk about volleyball, I know you guys have talked a lot of volleyball since you've been here in California and even before that. And I really want to get into the story of like how you guys met and what it was like, you know, just getting partnered together. And was it always just this like, oh my gosh, this is like a match made in heaven? Or, you know, what did that feel like?
Do you want to go? You go first. I feel like you're better at telling how it started.
How it all started. COVID. Thank you, COVID, for one good thing that actually came
I'm
out
all
of
about
it.
silver linings. That's
yes,
good.
There has to be a silver lining. COVID helped everybody in one way. I'm convinced of it. Like, maybe it was to take a break. Maybe your life was going way too fast and you needed something like the entire world to shut down for you to actually allow yourself to take a break. So, went home and I was able to catch up with my family again. And that was a huge silver lining for me. And then after that, I was like, all right, caught up with you guys. I'm ready to get out of the cold again. So going back down to Louisiana, before I did, I was like, hey, Kristen, will you play with me? Or will you train with me? And asking her that was kind of scary just because, I mean, she was like the leader of the team. Like she's going to hate this. But I mean, obviously just like top level player. And for me to like go in and just be like, hey, will you kind of help me out? Was a little scary, but I think that her just having like the coach mentality of like wanting people to be better, or if she sees something, she's going to let you know. So yeah, I just started training, like really intense training in the hot weather and just grinding.
Yeah, I met you guys in the Louisiana heat, and that is something that even as a Central Valley, California person, that's dry heat. And yeah, I heard that was a whole new level. So
it is just,
mad respect for
different.
mad respect for what you guys do down there.
There were multiple days where I was just like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna die out here.
There's no need for like weighted vest down there because it just becomes your clothes. I swear my sweat adds like 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's like a 2-hour practice of just like straight sweat as soon as you step out on the sand. So anyway, we go through all of that, and then a tournament pops up, and I'm very much so a planner. So like when something actually came up, I was like, oh my gosh, let's do this. Yeah. So signed up for basically everything that we could.
Okay.
And it's just like local tournament. Yeah. It was like local Louisiana women's tournaments. Nothing like AVP level at the beginning.
Okay, but she was just like, it's like local tournaments. To me, it was like, this is a tournament. Like, this is
I'm going to compete. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, okay, and this is what month? So, if COVID was March of 2020.
Yeah, I think it was June or July when they started happening again.
Okay.
I think, because you came back probably in, like, May.
Yeah.
I think
that's
it was, like,
probably, those, like, 8 weeks were kind of the real shutdown, and then May things started to...
And then it was better again.
Okay.
So, yeah, those were just local tournaments, and then there was one in Atlantic City that's
where it all began.
that I did not breathe when I was playing. I signed up for my first AVP membership, and I was just like, I'm with Kristen Nuss, and I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It really was. It was I seriously will like never forget. It was the first the first set of our game, and one, the weather was like raining and everything, so it wasn't ideal weather either for like her like first like this was like an AVP next. It wasn't even like top AVP. But
to me it was.
It's still some good competition for sure.
We're playing in our first game, and it's not even the first side switch yet, and we're switching sides, and I look at Taryn and I was like, you can breathe. Like, you can breathe.
Yeah.
Like, she just had the, like, deer in the headlights, like, the entire time.
Yeah, and that actually really does affect your physiology a lot, right? So you were feeling pretty keyed up at that point.
Yeah, to say the least. Mm-hmm.
Did you take a big deep breath when she told you to?
I was better. I think I took 2 for the rest of the match, but at least it was more than 0.
And then how'd you guys do in that tournament?
We actually ended up winning the tournament. Yeah.
All right.
It was pretty much like that tournament I felt like was so similar to our Atlanta win.
Okay.
Of just like going in, and we had like, it was just like, no one knows who we are. Like,
yeah.
Just go see what happens. And it was just kind of cool. Like, it was a cool experience.
Yeah. Well, I've heard you guys, we've talked offline, and to hear you describe like the kind of the yin and yang personality and the, it's really fun to watch on the court, but I'm curious about, okay, I know you're one of 5. Taryn. No?
There's more.
There's more. Okay.
I have 1 older sibling and then 6 younger siblings.
6 younger. Okay. So
you're
one
a
of
lot of us.
Yeah, okay. And then Kristen?
I have 3 other brothers.
Yes.
2 half brothers, 1 full brother, all older. So I'm just the little baby girl in the family.
She's not baby girl in the family though. She's like, I'm going to crush all of you.
Right. So
but that is for sure where I got all of the competitiveness and everything. 3 older brothers, I mean, constantly you're just getting like ragged on, like
thrown
the
in
whole,
the pile. Yeah.
Like I think me and my brother at like this past holiday, we were just talking, and we used to play like tackle football. Like there would be like, Taryn would be my brother. He would throw me a football. We would just run at each other, and there was like a couch like on the other side of Taryn that was like the touchdown. So it's just like me and him just running straight at each other. And obviously he's 4 years older than me. So I don't think I won many times.
Okay.
But,
well, you're taking care of that now. But
it was just that competitive, just like
made you hungry.
Just go out and play, and it's fun.
Yeah. And were your parents like protective at all of like being the only girl, or did they just kind of let you mix it up? Yes and no,
but I was also like, I was the biggest tomboy. Yeah. Like I was just like, oh, let me do whatever. Like I wanted to play tackle football with. I also have a nephew who's actually like 4 months older than me.
Oh, cool.
So he's like another brother.
Okay.
And like I would like watch him play like tackle football, and I'd be like, Mom, like
I'm in.
I want to do that. She's like, no, Kristen. Fine.
So you never got to
never got to play tackle football, but flag football.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually at my grammar school, we didn't have a flag football team, and my senior year, I was like, we have to have a team. Like, I cannot go through this grammar school and not have a flag football team. So we started a team, and we went and played against all the other schools who like.
Let me guess, did you win?
We were city champs.
I'm shocked.
I know, right? So other sports, like besides flag football, what other sports do you play?
My like first love was soccer. Like
okay.
I was like, this is the sport that I want to play. Then I went to basketball. Was a huge basketball fan. I wanted to like go to UConn and play women's basketball. That's like
and
a
you
lot
probably
of.
could have.
I don't know. And then I went to indoor volleyball and then beach. So I just kind of like hit all the sports basically of like different times of like, oh, like I could see myself doing this.
And like when you picked a sport and you said UConn basketball, did you always look at like, okay, where's the best place where's the top? I want to do that.
Yeah, because I mean, especially with UConn, I would always just like watching them on TV.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, like they're the best. Like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah.
Set your sights high.
Yeah. Because I mean, when I was for soccer, I didn't really have that because I was so young.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about college then.
Yeah.
But for sure, for basketball, yeah, I was like, that'd be fun.
So advice, I'm sure you've been asked this on every podcast or interview you've been on, but advice to the undersized athlete.
I would say you, one, just have to, like, put in a ton of work. Like, it for sure doesn't just happen. Like, there are so many times just in practice where you're just, like, you have to do things, like, very specifically in order to be successful. Like, Taryn probably hates when I do this, but, like, I can't get away with the things that she can get away with in volleyball. So, like, everything has to be, like, very precise, and that just takes, like, practice after practice, just reps after reps. So it's just, you have to be willing to put in that work and go that extra mile. It may take a little more work than other people who are taller.
Yeah.
But you just have to be, you just have to know that, accept it, and go get it.
Yeah. So specifically in beach volleyball, like if you had a kid coming up on the beach, like do you have things in your head? And I know it's so, like, by this point it's so ground in, but do you remember the things that when you were starting out, like, okay, I've got to, like, really reach, I've got to really keep my elbow high. Like, what are those things?
Definitely have to have a pretty decent arm. Got to get that arm up, and just have to be able to hit every single shot in the books. Like,
I've seen
just
you do it.
over and over. Like, eyes closed, oh, I can't hit a cut shot.
Yeah.
Like, because you're not going to be able to just power your way through.
Yeah.
So I would 100% say be able to hit every single shot from wherever you are on the court. You can hit whatever. And then you have to be able to beat a pulling block as a defender. So working on hitting those lines. Like, doesn't have to have, like, a ton of pace, but location. Yeah. That is your best friend as a undersized player.
Okay. Good tips. Oh, Jason's got some.
Oh boy.
Jay, you're way better at breaking this down. I'm always just cheering. Like, everything amazes me. Great high line shot. Yeah, see? Textbook.
Shot, yep.
Textbook.
Have to hit a shot, and then if they pull, make them pay for it.
Timing is everything.
Yeah. So, Taryn, to the girls out there that have been the tall girl their whole life, and in sports, yeah, it's such a gift. But for those moments when we talked about it offline, being the tall one and the times in your life when maybe you didn't appreciate it as much. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about how you got through, how you got through those times.
Yeah. When I was younger, I was in constant competition with my older sister. So she was always taller than me. So I wanted to be taller than her for forever at the beginning. Okay. And I was like, oh, I gotta be taller than Sierra. She stopped growing at like 5'10", and I got to 6'4". So I definitely won that competition. I don't know if I but yeah, I was just like so excited. I wanted to be taller. And then once I got to that height, and I was like, oh, okay, now I'm taller. What's next? And I would definitely say it's hard when, like, the boys are all shorter than you, and they're like, oh, you're so tall, and everybody comments on it. And I know you get it, like, you kind of, like, see it more, because, like, we go to the store, and, like, I do not get out of the store without at least 5 people asking me how tall I am. Uh-huh. And some people ask it in a very respectful way, and they're just, like, kind, or they're like, wow, I cannot believe you're so tall. How tall are you? Yeah. But when you get the people that are like, oh, my gosh, she's enormous, or like I walk by.
There's certain words that you're like, just really don't. Enormous would be one of them. Huge,
giant,
big girl. None of those. Oh my god. so I'm only 6 feet, and I never liked those. Yeah. So
I mean, it gets rough, and I don't think it's ever a bad thing to, like, sometimes get frustrated with it, but knowing that it's a gift, and I would not be here without it.
Yep.
But do I get sick of it sometimes and everybody has to comment? Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty wild, like, walking. I enjoy walking in a store and going behind her.
Yeah. Oh.
Because you just, like, get to watch everyone be like, and they're like,
so you're just like, she has to be somebody. Like, yeah.
It's fun when you're on the outside.
Just slide on through.
Yeah. But
my mom's always like, I could be naked on fire and running through a store and nobody would look at me.
You're like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do 100% get how it can be annoying.
Yeah. And it's a confidence thing. And the other thing I would say to the young girls out there, I mean, I had a grandmother that always, like, came up behind me and pulled my shoulders back, and she was 6 feet tall and born in 1917. So
Yeah.
that's,
That's tough.
as people have gotten taller. But you have amazing posture.
Thank you. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
It was all her, because she's only 5'6".
Okay.
And so my dad's 6'9", so having daughters that she knew were going to be tall from the beginning was like, stand up straight, enjoy that you are tall. I wish I was as tall as you. You guys need to just do this. So yeah, I could never be hunched without getting my shoulders pushed back a little bit.
For sure.
And I'm very grateful for it, because I see all those people that like, they want to hide their height.
Yeah.
You're not going to hide it by hunching over.
No.
So you might as well just put your shoulders back.
Yeah, and be yourself. Like,
yeah.
you're never
and it's not going to
get...
change.
No.
You hunching is going to like make you smaller by like a half an inch.
Yeah.
And it's going to make you look like you're trying to hide from everything. If you're confident and you just have your shoulders back, even if you're not confident, fake it. Like, put your shoulders back.
Yep.
I feel like if they people realize like, oh, I wish I was that tall. They'd be like, if I was that tall, I'd be like, oh,
I'm
heck
here.
yeah. Look up to me.
Well, and I think the second you get into sports and like you
That's
realize,
your world of...
I mean, you get that. Yeah. My friend was telling you his daughter got the first block, and all of a sudden the shoulders
like,
went back. Like it does make a quick difference
when you're on an indoor team and it's like 6'9", 6'9", 6'8", 6'7", 6'6", 6'6", 6'4", and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like the 7th tallest person on this team.
You were
awesome.
Seriously, at Creighton, you were the 7th?
No, this is when we went to China, actually. So
okay.
people were already super impressed with how tall we were. And then I got to be in Kristen's shoes where people were like, can we have a picture? And they would ask other people. And I was like, yes, this is awesome. Yes, I will take the picture for you guys. Like, enjoy. And I got talking to, it was like Rachel Kramer and Dana Retke and Jenna Rosenthal, and I was like, you guys are so tall and just like very confident, and they just absolutely love it. And I'm like, this is really cool. Like, this is, they know that they can't change it. I know that I can't change it, so why am I trying to just be, I don't know.
No,
it was like a big light bulb moment for me.
Yeah, there you go.
It was really cool.
You got to use what you got, right?
Yeah.
And you both do it beautifully, and that looks, when you do it on the court, it's really pretty. So okay, Creighton, and then we talked about basketball. Okay, first loves. We went through Kristen. So
yeah. Well, I was in dance. I was in soccer. I got kicked out of dance, but
how'd you get kicked out of dance, Taryn?
I may or may not have been talking too much.
Oh,
dancing, which I'm not surprised by. That was always a weakness for me, was to just, even in school, like,
chatterbox.
Yeah, gets put in the corner for like, stop talking so much. But otherwise, it was good. Basketball, 100%, absolutely loved it. My mom shoved me out of the car and was like, you're trying out for volleyball, you have to give it a go. And she was like, if you hate it, you never have to do it again, but you have to try it once. And I was like, fine.
That's a real, yeah. And you know
and my best friend was there, so that was pretty much the only way that I was actually like okay with going.
As a parent, that's one of my favorite. Like, you have to try it once. Yeah. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. And look where I got you.
Yeah.
So
she's right. So I somehow made the team. I have no idea how, because I obviously had no idea what volleyball was, but thank goodness I was tall.
Yes.
So yeah, I do think that taller people get the benefit of the doubt. Like, yeah, they're tall, we can make something of them, versus taking somebody that is athletic and making them more skilled. So I think it's just kind of flipped a little bit. And then once I started playing, I fell in love, and I literally could not stop playing, like, all the time. Mm-hmm. It was so much fun.
Did you have any siblings that played?
Yeah, my older sister played volleyball, so we could go and practice together and play together and pepper and stuff. And did we fight a little bit? Yeah. But happens. At least I had somebody to play.
Yeah, my two oldest play, and it's fun when you have that, the camaraderie that you can take out there. And I know you had that with your brothers, because Sean has told me about...
For sure.
Yeah.
They are competitive, and they...
And you guys all played at Coconut? Like...
Yeah, so my half-brothers are, like, a decent amount older than me.
Okay.
Like, early 40s.
Okay.
So there's, like, a big age difference, but they think they are the best volleyball players.
Yeah?
Their
I
heads
can
are
attest to this.
Okay. Do they still play against you guys?
Not really, a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
But not much.
Yeah.
But yeah, Taryn.
I also
Taryn
feel like
knows.
they're my brothers now too.
You guys have an awesome thing going on with the like blended families.
think
Like maybe you come from blended families and now you're blending another family. Like it's what it feels like.
Wow, I
Yeah.
never thought about that. Like,
That is
Very
kind of
good
what
at it.
we might as well blend more.
Yeah, it seems to be working for you. So
No, I feel like, I mean, that is so true. I feel like into each other's families, we're like adopted.
Yeah.
So.
And I went to my, I went home and then everybody, she came back actually too. She was like, I'm coming. Like, I'm coming to your house. Like,
I'm coming
not
with
getting
you.
an invite. I'm just coming. And I was like, oh my gosh, you
Yeah.
never have to ask.
Yeah.
Like, you're always invited. And one day she just stayed home and watched football all day because, you know, that's something that she would do.
Mm-hmm.
And my entire family was like, where's Kristen? Where's Kristen? Oh, we wanted to see Kristen. Oh. I was like, oh, I'm here.
Yeah. No, we want you together all the
Yeah.
time. So football. Who's your favorite football team?
Come on.
Saints.
Yeah.
Who dat? New head coach. Who knows who our quarterback's going to
I
be?
know. That is so true.
Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator.
Uh-huh.
I think it'll be good. Yeah. He's been around. He knows what it's going to take. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Now, I'm excited about him. The quarterback situation, that's a little scary.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Turning over a new leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yeah.
I've forced her to be a Saints fan.
Have you yeah.
I have turned on the ESPN notifications on my phone, so I actually know more information before she does.
Okay.
And then I went to my first Saints game, and that was unbelievable. It was super,
It looks so fun every time one of you guys post something from down there.
It
It
was-
it looks so fun.
and Mardi
It's a
Gras is
blast.
coming up, so just wait.
It's on the that's on the bucket list too. I'd
Oh.
probably last about 20 minutes, but
Oh my gosh.
It's a must. Like,
yeah.
I
you
went,
have to.
I think my first time was a Sunday after, I went to Toth or something.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Sunday after a tournament, so I was beat. Like, I was so
Oh.
tired, but I was like, I have to go.
Yeah.
And so I get up, 6 a.m., drive to New Orleans with Tony,
Uh-huh.
and we go and we sit there, and I was like, it's my first Mardi Gras. And everybody moved aside and put me at the front, and I was just sitting there and, like, looking at all the floats go by. I probably
Oh.
almost got run over because I wanted to get so close.
Yeah.
So
My
that's great.
cousins grew up in New Orleans, and they would mail us boxes every year
Of king cake or what?
Yeah, no, just like coins and beads, and we'd get all excited because our box would come, and then we just wear all the stuff. Like,
Have you
that's-
ever had a king cake? Have you ever had
I
king cake?
have, because my cousin knows how to make them.
Wait, what kind? Oh, she makes them.
She's-
No, he.
Or he.
It's been 20 years.
What
Like
is the kind we just had?
Not the Manny
Which-
Randazzo?
Yeah.
Wait,
what
Manny-
kind? What kind
Oh.
did you just have?
There's two that they're so good.
Manny Randazzo.
Um,
It's
okay. Well,
we're gonna get you covered.
I got. I need to make it down there. I'm coming back for AVP this year. I just made my when I saw that schedule come out. I mean, watching you guys last year, that's where we met.
Yeah.
But then getting a full the pro tour
Yeah.
stop this year, it
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
get
exciting.
does not get any better. And that atmosphere down there, to see that grow, it was already like a top flight event last year.
It was
Yeah.
huge.
So this is gonna be.
And that's what I'm excited because I feel like there were so many people because it was like the first one, like people didn't really know what to expect, and then I think we've just had over this past year we've had so many people who have like supported us and followed us now, and now I think they're like, oh my gosh, we actually get to like come see y'all like live because
Well,
for
yeah.
a lot of the people it's hard to like travel around, but now that it's gonna be in New Orleans,
Well, and there's such just the vibe down there, like nobody takes it for granted. Like it just felt like everyone was so excited it was there. And at every level, whether it was the juniors or the fours, I played in the fours and the ring came, everyone was having so much fun. And there was no like, oh, this is so like, oh, it happens all the time. It's the coolest feeling as a volleyball fan, and to get to play even. It's like, and then obviously it was your guys' first pro tournament, and even though we didn't get the finals, but
Yep.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was weird.
but yeah, that heat it wrung them out in the end, so they learned something, right? Because
Yeah.
you guys were used to it, so.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, I think it says something like Louisiana really does just like we love our sports. Like,
Yeah.
we love our sports teams, and like people just back whoever is from Louisiana or just whatever sports teams. Like, for instance, Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He has become like the adopted person of Louisiana, and now like every single person, obviously, if they were playing the Saints, it'd be a little different. But when the Saints aren't there, everyone's just like, that's our team. We've become like the Cincinnati Bengals fans, like everyone in Louisiana, which is just, it's so cool.
It is so. Well, I mean, you're such a resilient bunch. I'm actually working on a documentary about the last, the hurricane that came through. And, Evan talked the other night when we were talking about just the way that you guys just dig deep, and there's that resilient spirit,
together.
and that runs through sports. So it's like what you live in your life, you guys do for your sports, and it's just so fun to watch.
Yeah, it's cool.
When you said that they're grateful for everything, and talking about the hurricane, that was my first hurricane, and it was absolutely terrible. I thought I was so scared the entire time, but every other person that I spoke to, I was like, what's going to happen to your house? Where are your things going to go? And they're like, my family's safe.
Yeah.
That would be the only answer. It would be like, my family's all out. My family is safe. That is all they care about. They did not care if they went back to a house that was absolutely destroyed. Yeah,
but
it
even
sucks.
if you do, like, you rebuild.
Then it's
So,
that right there. That is everything that they would say back. And I was over here like, oh my gosh, I don't know if we're going to make it.
Yeah.
And I was so scared the whole time, and just kind of questioning everything. Like, when do we get to go back? And everything was just like,
Talk
it's
about the
gonna work
beauty
out.
of, I mean, that's learning to live in the present moment, right? I mean, it's like control what you can control, and look at how that converts to what you do on the court.
I will say, after 3 days of them all just being super calm and me freaking out, I lost it on the fourth day, and I just started crying. I was like, how are you guys not freaking out? What are we going to do? Because it was right before Chicago. And I wanted to practice so bad, and obviously we can't. And then the where we practice had hurricane fallout, so we had, we literally couldn't even go there and practice because we had to get all that kind of put back together. But it was just, nobody was worried.
Yeah. And then how did you guys make your way up to Chicago from after?
What a time. We were supposed to fly out of New Orleans. Couldn't do that. Airport, we were like, okay, maybe the airport will open back up. And every other day kept being like, all right, flights for today are canceled. Flights for, the next day we wake up, flights for today are canceled. So we were like, all right, this is definitely we're not going to be able to fly out of New Orleans. So we were like, what the heck do we do? Like, we need to get to Chicago.
Yeah.
And luckily my boyfriend's parents live in Houston, in the Houston area. Okay. So we were like, okay, we're going to drive up there. Well, my parents will drive us up there. We'll just hop on a plane from Houston and go to Chicago. But it was just, so crazy. Even us just, because when we evacuated, we didn't pack any of our stuff for Chicago. So we finally, the weather goes away, but obviously there's a ton of debris and just stuff. So people are like, don't come back to New Orleans. Stay where you are, don't come back. We're like, we have to go back. We need to get our clothes. So everyone on the radio is like, don't come back, as we're
literally
driving.
The entire time it's like, please do not come back. If you come back, we cannot save you if you get trapped. And I'm over here.
You're like, is this really worth it?
It's literally as we're en route, but we get to my house. Luckily, our house didn't really have any damage, but
good.
There's still no power or anything. So we're holding
the windows.
flashlights.
The windows are boarded up, so
Yeah.
you can't even get that.
If it's dark as
and so I'm over here
We're holding flashlights for each other, trying to pack, trying to find the stuff to pack.
Yeah.
It was just...
And my whole family was freaking out because they don't know what it's like to be in a hurricane. So I was like, I'm evacuating, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then we lost power. So then we lost service. And so I went for a couple hours and not being able to respond to anybody. And they're like,
it is pretty crazy
Taryn's
when
done.
you go there and there's no
Nothing.
service. You can't communicate to anyone. It's so just weird.
And so as soon as I got it, I was like, I'm okay. And then we made it back to Baton Rouge. But then, we were talking about with just, our families being so kind of connected. It was like, I was texting my big family group chat and I was like, hey, I'm going to be okay. I don't know what the Nusses are going to do. They all live down here.
Yeah.
And so my aunt and uncle are like, we have a lake home. They can all just move in for as long as they need. They can just like spend the time in South Dakota in the summer is like perfect. Okay. So
Lovely.
It would have been amazing, but like just having another option. And
but
you don't
that's,
have to be
that's
scared.
the thing. I mean, but that is absolutely that concept of safety and just what you can do if you just have a roof over your head. Mm-hmm. Like it is a huge thing, and keeping that simple. But to go through something like that and then keep your cool and go play a professional tournament in your first season and like just roll with it.
During the tournament, we didn't even know because with the hurricane, they were like, it's going to be like a month until power comes back on. So like going there, we were like, we don't even know when we're going to be able to come back. So like when we were packing for it, we were like, what do we even bring? Like it was just.
And then that's when we went back to my house after, right?
Yeah.
We went back to South Dakota.
So, yeah, I mean, these are the things. And, like, coming out of the pandemic and a lot of the kids that I'm seeing and working with and even just being at clinics and watching, like, juniors players play. And, you know, there's so much that we can't control. I was just in Austin and there was a huge ice storm. So, like, a lot of teams didn't come in. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, like, parents weren't able to land. So, like, you know what I mean? They're just all these things that we have to roll with. But I'm watching kids and they're having a really hard time rolling with things. Like when you talk about a story like that, I watched, I mean, there were 2 kids that had like anxiety attacks, you know, just playing volleyball. And
that's supposed to be fun.
It is supposed to be fun. And I don't know, like it wasn't that way obviously in my generation. I don't feel like we took things so seriously. And I think when you get to the top of the game, and I know there's more places you guys want to go, but you know, you're competing at a really high level. But to look back and say to like a younger player, you know, what are the things that can kind of bring you down out of those moments where you feel like you're losing, you've lost control, right? I mean, like the hurricane moment of like, I've lost, how am I going to get there? Mm-hmm. You know, those types of things, because it's everywhere right now.
For me, realizing that you literally have no control over it is the scariest and most relieving thing that you can probably do. That's what her family just kept saying over and over, and there's nothing we can do. And so you do just have to kind of get over yourself.
Surrender.
Yeah, because you worrying about it is just going to make you more worried. And that is what hanging out with her for every
she's
single
cool
day.
As a cucumber over here. I know, for
and
sure.
I walk in the room and Jason's like, wow, I'd love to see you at a scary movie. Because, yeah, I would just, like, freak out. I would like to say I'm getting a little bit better. But it's just, it's different. And it's a different mindset.
Yeah.
And I do come to realize that, like, everything does have a purpose and everything does work out. But, like, realizing that faster is what I think is helpful.
You can only control, like, what you can control. So you have to just learn to, like, let things play out. And I think as far as just, like, kids, when they're playing games, just, like, realize it is a game. Like, you're just out there to, like, have fun. I think the other day, it's nice when we're out here and we can just turn and look at the water. And I was just, like, frustrated during a practice. And I was just, like, for a minute, I just, like, turned and I was, like, looking at the water. And I was just, like, why are you so angry? Like, look where we are. Like, this is just so nice. And I was just like, okay, here we go. So it's just like those little things of just realizing that.
Gratitude is huge. Playing instead of, we're all competitors, but just that ability to just play is huge. And I think kids have lost a lot of that. Like there just isn't the freedom to just be and like play. And when you watch a player, like I can see it now from a distance. It's like they're playing free and they're having fun. And you know, I watch that with you guys, and you guys have such different temperaments, but you're playing free. Like you really are. Like you're it's laughing. I mean,
if I'm not laughing, there's an issue.
Yeah.
I'm just like, even so. Like at practice yesterday, I did 4 horrible things that I was just like, am I in 2nd grade? Like, how am I playing volleyball? And I literally had to laugh because I was just like, that was so dumb. But it's over. Like, that. Yeah. That's it. And then there was a practice where she was just like, I could kick a ball to the mountains right now. And me laughing at her saying that, I think, like, helped you to calm
the
down.
moment. Yeah.
So, it was just you gotta realize it is a game.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely do, like, I feel like sometimes you do just need to throw in some humor. You're just like, just a simple little laugh really can just be like, what are you doing? Like, so, for sure, like, I feel like there are times where I'm like, hey, if it's like if I'm like angry or something, like, crack a joke or something. I don't know. Like, and that'll, like, help get me out of it or something.
She does not want me to crack a joke. She wants me to tell her that she's terrible, which will not come out of my mouth.
I do. Yeah, I grew up so much of just brothers being like, you're terrible, like, be better. And she's like, you're right, all right, I got to. So if she's like, oh, that swing was terrible, I'd be like, you know, you're right, man, I can do better. So it's like,
it's funny that
I'm working on it. Maybe one day it'll come out.
Yeah, you definitely have. I've been told my whole life I have the nice girl syndrome. So, and I do. It's as a top flight competitor that you are. Like, have you battled that to any extent, or when you get out there, you really, I mean, you clearly have the fire. But
yeah.
But you're so nice and happy-go-lucky, and, you know.
I mean,
I think get a little fiery.
Yeah,
I think I can. Yeah, and
you definitely do when you play. But do you feel like you had to, like, stoke that fire a little bit, or it was always in there?
No, I want to win.
Yeah.
Like, I've wanted to win, and honestly, having my older sister and us just battling all the time and everything, and her being only 2 years older than me, huge. Everything was a competition, and then she stopped competing with me, and I was like, this sucks.
Did she stop competing with you because you started winning?
What did you just say? She stopped competing, and then it just wasn't fun?
Yeah. Why, Kristen? Because you only do things that you're good at, and you don't like to do anything that you're not good at.
Sorry.
Is she accusing you of that?
No, I'm saying because I always am like, oh, I want to go play tennis, or I want to go do this, and...
It sucks to lose all the time to somebody that's good at everything. We all know she's good at everything, and I'm so happy for her, but sometimes I don't want to lose again. Actually, all the time I don't want to lose again. And she's like, it's just going to be fun. I'm like, it's not fun to lose.
We go out there and we're not even competing, though.
No,
it's not even like we're playing a game.
We're just like
ever not a competition? Yeah.
We're just going to like hit the tennis ball back and forth. That's not a game.
Sorry. So you're always moving.
I just love sports.
Yeah.
I love to be active, like throwing the football. I would just go do that all day, every day, and be perfectly okay.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I do. Sorry.
So if I can see it, and you guys are together all the time, by the way. So yeah. Was your dad an athlete?
Yes.
Okay.
He played basketball at USD.
And your mom?
Cheerleader.
Okay. All right.
No, she does like triathlons and yoga, and she did a half marathon. So
she's a competitor,
but she doesn't not with sports.
Yeah.
Like if you give her like she can go do a bike ride. She can go and do things, but I wouldn't say it's like her top skill.
Yeah. Well, I'm always in this day and age, I'm very curious about the parenting that, goes into champions. And, there's a lot out there right now. You see parents living vicariously through their children, or like they're pushing their kid when their kid doesn't really want it, or I think that's where a lot of that anxiety can come from. And really as a parent, it's always been my goal to like expose my kids to things and then see where they take it, right? But I'm curious about both of you, what your parents like mentality was like, that you felt like as it influenced your athletic career.
At the beginning for basketball, my dad was always just like, you have to practice. Like, you have to go and practice. And then I would just be sitting there, it's like, you're not going to, like, go do something.
So there wasn't a lot, not sitting around was not a thing.
Like, sometimes. But my mom was just like, do whatever you want. You're kind of like, if you want to play, go play, and if you don't. And then I got to volleyball, and they did not have to push me one bit because I pushed myself. Mm-hmm. There was something that I wanted to do. I signed up for it and paid for it myself. Like, it was just like, this is what I want, and I'm going to do everything that I can to get there.
Yeah. I think that's a great sign to look for in kids, like when they're seeking it out. And my daughter did that with me. She'd be like, oh, there's a tournament here. Like, I'm going to sign up for this. Can I have, you know?
Yeah.
And makes a really big difference because, you know, even going through college, like what it takes and the time it takes and the dedication. If you don't love it, it's, yeah.
I wouldn't say they ever pushed me towards doing that. I was always pushing myself. I kind of policed myself. Like, I didn't really have a ton of rules. Because I didn't really need them. Like, I could not follow the rules.
Yeah.
If I tried, like.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. And it's a blessing and a curse, but I honestly think, like, it's kind of funny how our parents are kind of different in the way, like, hers are very involved and mine are kind of just like.
Yeah.
Good job.
Except you have those grandparents. That was my that was one of my favorite coconut stories.
I have a giant supportive
and they
family.
Surprised you. And they surprise you at most tournaments, right?
They never tell me where they are.
They don't tell you you're coming, and then they just show up. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the cutest thing ever.
Yep. Like, one time we were playing in California, and we were just practicing, and my grandpa walks by and goes, and I look over, I'm like, what are you doing here? It's cool.
Really cool.
But I was going to say, our moms are very different. Like, hers is very, like, Kristen, you need to be better. My mom's like, good job. It's so weird because she's like, you're doing great. And I'm like, I just had a horrible game. She goes, it's not what I saw. And so she does just have, like, a positive outlook on me going out there and having fun. I could lose 21-0, and she'd be like, great job. Great job. Did you see what you were doing out there? Not very many people can do that. And I'm like, yeah, nobody can lose 21-0. It's terrible.
Well, you guys certainly aren't doing that, but
it's just different.
Your parents.
So when I grew up, my parents were actually my coaches, which I absolutely loved.
Oh, I love watching that connection
but that obviously I was like pretty young, and I want to coach my kids. So definitely I love that. But as I got older, so my mom has for sure always been like, if you ask any of my other coaches, everyone is like, your mom thinks you're terrible. Like, and so she for sure can be like really hard, but also like what people don't really see is that like, yeah, in the car home, she'd be like, okay, yeah, that game may not have been great, but you were pretty good. Like, she like will be like, you know, that was a good game. Like, hey, you did have a good game. She just very much is not afraid to speak her mind. Like, she's gonna like tell you what she thinks, and I do love it because there are times where she does admit like, hey, that was a good game, and there are times where you're like, yeah, you probably could have been better, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I like everything she says, I'm like,
and it was
I know
like that
you're right
from a young age.
Yeah, and she never like, she was just never the parent who was like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. Like, I could do wrong. Like, it wasn't like, you can't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And I, like, really like that. I liked her, like, kind of, like...
I think there is something really healthy in that, because I think one of the hardest things is, like, watching our kids struggle, and, like, to be able to kind of see through that and go, yeah, none of our kids are perfect, and sports is full of mistakes, and life is full of mistakes. Mm-hmm. And to see through that and then be able to communicate it from a young age, because it's not like all of a sudden you can just start, like some of these, you know, even if you don't have any of that constructive criticism and then you get to college, like, you think you're great and you hit whatever level you hit where you realize somebody's better than me, and you see any of us like crumble, and that's
it's funny you say that. Her favorite line she would always say, she would always be like, there's someone better than you out there.
There's
always
so many people
better.
When you go to college, if you don't walk in and think, I am at the bottom of the totem pole, something is wrong.
Well, and that's one of the things that and you know, coming through this COVID thing, like, I've watched my kids play college sports during this time, and you know how hard you work, right? And sometimes you're on the court and sometimes you're not. I mean, not in beach, or sometimes you're not in the top 5 teams, right? So, but I watched these guys the other night in Austin. There was this amazing college men's volleyball tournament. First time that
That's so
there had
cool.
never been
That's
men's
awesome.
college volleyball in Texas. And
That
so
is wild.
club juniors filling the stands, right? Because they never have seen a college game. And so, like, I heard 3 or 4 kids say, like, this is a dream come true. Like, it was just the coolest. So First Point Volleyball, like, shout out, amazing. It was such a great tournament. But when you do all that hard work, and then, like, there have been no crowds. There have been no, like, there's been no feedback. And so whether the feedback's positive or negative, like, I saw in those guys the other night, I was like, you know what? The ones who haven't been on the court, they're going to stick around just for this. Like, they're going to give it that extra year. Because, you know, this is, you see it. Like, they go, oh, I'm going to quit. And, like, instead of saying, I'm the last man on the totem pole and I need to climb, they go, oh, I'm not good. And there's no feedback in this. There's been no feedback in this environment that we've been in. And to see it the other night and go, who wouldn't stick around? Like, because you need those high moments too, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yep. That's a good point.
But it's, whether it's, I mean, and obviously we're not talking about, like, total negativity that has no constructive nature, but, like, feedback is so huge. And as a parent, like, figuring out what that feedback is as a coach, and that's, like, it's really cool to hear you say, like, because you learn that from a young age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many, like, young athletes, if they're, like, really good when they're younger, and they're just constantly, like, oh my gosh, you're so good. Like, people are just saying that.
Yeah.
And then say they get to college, and people are, like, passing them up. It's just, like, it's so hard for them to, like, mentally even realize, like, why are they passing me up? Like, why am I not getting better? And I think it is just, like, maybe if that wasn't being told to them that whole time when they were younger, maybe it'd be different.
Yeah, definitely, like, fills their head, which it's good to, like, have the confidence.
Sure.
But I just go back to thinking, I think it was, like, 14 on, like, an 18s team. Yeah. Because in South Dakota, there was, like, maybe 9 people that you could, like, scrounge together to, like, make a team. And I just remember, like, looking around, I was like, oh my gosh, I suck. Like, all these people are so good. And I obviously did not get to play all the time. Like, I was not up there. And I had all the respect in the world for all those people, because I was like, they're all better than me. And I had no problem admitting it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, not getting discouraged by that, because were they all playing way more than I was? Were they all better? Absolutely. So they deserve to play. Like, you have to work your way up there, and you're just never going to just be tossed anything like, here's a starting spot. No.
Yeah.
That can't be how it is. And I think seeing, like, the process of, like, working up is way more exciting than just being up at the top from the beginning. Or, like, you talk about, like, all those players that are like, I'm up here and nobody's going to get to me. No, people are going to chase you. Like, when you're at the top, people are going to be chasing you. And, like, that's what I always want to, like, keep doing, is, like, keep chasing people. Always.
Always.
Way more fun.
So much more fun. And this is, like, that's such a great perspective. And the last thing I'm thinking of, I mean, you guys had a perfect season at LSU, right?
Yeah, I guess.
That seems so long ago.
Yeah, I know.
So crazy.
But I mean, I think that I can imagine that seems so much. But when it was going on, like, and I was following college beach volleyball then, Lauren was, you know, playing at TCU. I was just kind of getting used to what was, you know, who's good, and starting to really pay attention. And I heard about you guys. I was like, wow, what? And was there, like, mounting pressure in that season, or did you just go out like, every game we're just gonna take it on?
I mean, I didn't even, like, as far as, like, our record, it wasn't even concerned about. It was just going out and getting that win for the team. Yeah. Like, no matter what it was, I was like, all right, we know going in that we're going to get our team a win. So LSU will have a 1 on the board. Yeah. Never even really thought, like,
it's way easier that way.
Well, it's
focusing on everybody else.
And talk about a different mentality going from college sports to doing what you guys are doing now. Yeah. Like,
it's different.
It is.
For sure. I think it does help I love the college thing, how it is a team thing, which beach, it is, like, so weird because it is, like, so individual and then such a team thing, which is, the dynamic is just wild. But that definitely is a very different thing from going from college to the pros. It is now. You're, like, playing for just yourself and your partner.
And for a living.
Yeah. And let alone if you don't win, you're not going to make money.
Yeah.
So that part is very, very different, and you're making your own schedule professionally. Like college, you're just like, you need to be here, here, and here.
Yeah.
Like,
check the app.
Okay.
And show
yeah.
up, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like that is the part that is nice, but it also is kind of nice on the other side to like make your own schedule.
Yeah.
But yeah, the mindset is definitely.
Do you have any advice for those college, like, especially with girls? And I was saying this to you guys the other night. Like, we can be the most supportive crew and, like, be there for our friends and whatever. But when we turn bad, like,
it's bad. It's
women
ugly.
It gets ugly and toxic. And I think that the nature of beach volleyball is so hard when you're competing on a college team, because as a competitor, you're competing for the spot, but you're also, you want your team to win, right? And I think the ways that women can support each other off the court, you know, it's really huge for making it a healthy and fun way to come through college. So I don't know, do you have any advice on supporting each other off the court when you're not competing?
I had my sophomore year, a senior, actually even my freshman year, I had a senior that came up to us as freshmen, and she was starting and playing, and Melanie Jareb and I will never forget this, and she came up to me and she was like, you guys are performing better than me, I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader on the sideline. And it was like the coolest thing ever as a senior.
Yeah.
Like, you're playing all these, like, you have so much expectation, and then you get to your senior year, and she humbled herself enough to be like, you guys are going to be out on the court and I'm not. Like, go crush it. And then she was huge, like, biggest cheerleader, and I won't be like, she's the coolest person to me because of that.
Yeah.
Then I get to my sophomore year, and my best friend and I are competing for the same spot, and that was extremely hard, because we both wanted to play. Like,
yeah.
you don't want to give that up. And so there was one weekend where they pulled her and put me in her spot, and I wanted to go crush it.
Yeah.
But I also, like, it was just like
Do you
a
have
really
a weight on
weird
you?
dynamic.
Kind of a weight? Did
Yeah.
you feel like?
Yeah, but then I got into the game and it hit into like
Yeah.
competitive mode. And then after that, she came up to me and she goes, "You're going to crush it. I'm so excited for you." And it was that so hard for her to be able to probably say.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But again, forever will respect her for like being so supportive of me. And
Yeah.
I'm so excited we're going to go see her in like 4 days.
And the
she,
lifelong, right? So
Yeah.
one, it's humility, and then realizing that lifelong, those relationships. I
and
mean,
we met up and we talked like a couple weeks ago, and she was like, volleyball was so great because I have you guys now. And she's like, I don't really care about the sport, like I don't need that. I needed you guys.
Yeah.
So again, just like the perspective of that. So yeah, supporting people, and like, as much as it is so challenging to be humble and like not giving your spot because it's not your spot ever, but just like giving your support.
Yeah.
The coolest
And
thing.
there's always so much going on behind the scenes, you know, with your teammates, and there's always more than you know. And
Yeah.
I always...
Thank you, Jess Bird. I love you.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's the thing. It's like how we support each other, because a lot of times, like, yeah, you go in and you're focused, but that's like the time that you're taking your mind off all the things that are going on behind. And I see it a lot in girls, you know, a little younger than you, and all of us, right? There's always more going on. And I think the kindness, like, you can be a mad competitor and still really be kind and humble. So,
For sure.
Yeah.
100%. That is facts.
So, how about you, as far as like any stories of, you know, being the underdog, or how people made an impression on you and those types of...
I think it is similar to kind of just a similar story of just someone older just coming up and being like, we need you. Like, and just being like, whoa, like, okay, like, I can do it. Like, if they believe in me, like, I can do it. And I think it is just having that realization. I think a lot of people, I think, in college, especially just with the females, I feel like it's just understanding your role on the team and, like, being okay with, like, hey, this year, all right, I do just need to bust it. People ahead of me are better, but I just need to bust it, learn from them, and then when they're gone, all right, now I'm going to take on that bigger role. And just realizing that you being in the lineup, like, isn't end all be all. Like, your time is going to come. It's just about waiting for that opportunity and then being ready to just take full advantage of it. So it may not be your freshman year. You constantly may be like, oh, being told, like, you're so good. And then you get there and you have to take a back seat.
Yeah.
Learn from it. Learn from those seniors. Like, watch what they do. That for sure would be advice to people coming into college. It's just learn your role and then wait for your opportunity and take advantage of it.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys have been in California for 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 and
and
a
you're
half.
going
Close to
home
a month.
soon. I know.
Mm-hmm.
But how about just like your best highlight from this trip? And I think there have been a lot of them from what I've been seeing posting. But
Gosh.
Do I have to pick one?
I know. I mean, you were happy standing on Jason's
Ooh.
roof.
I was.
I know.
I
Oh my gosh.
you go first.
Shoot. Oh my gosh. I honestly, just the first thing that came to mind was literally just the couple nights that we've just went and
Watch the
sat on the
sunset?
beach and just watched the sunset.
That was gonna be mine.
Just like sitting there.
It
It has been a
is.
little cold, so we're like,
Yeah.
but we have to see the sunset. But it's just like,
Yeah.
this is just so. And in those moments, we talked a lot about gratitude, and it was just like,
Have you seen the dolphins
So
when you're
thank-
practicing?
our first night here, the first sunset we went to, and there was just dolphins.
They were just flipping through
We saw a whale.
I-
We saw a whale the other day
Oh,
at practice.
whale at practice.
Yeah. Okay.
You
yeah.
guys.
Yeah, I know. These are my favorite things too.
Wow.
But yeah.
But it really is just in that moment, just like sitting there, and you're just like, and you like turn and you like look at everything. You're like, we are so freaking lucky to be here. Like,
yeah.
I think
So
that is something
thankful.
that we have said probably 100,000 times while being here. It's just like,
Yeah.
this is our life. It's
Like,
kind of
pinch me. It
insane.
just gave me the chills. And
It
that's,
really
but see,
is.
sitting here listening to you guys, and it's like, I do love volleyball so much. This community is just awesome, and we've talked about that. But like, listening to you, I mean, you're hitting on all the stuff, like gratitude, humility, hard work, repetition, you know, teamwork. I mean, it's like, that's the stuff. I don't turn my TV news on right now, but
Good.
everywhere I look, I see good people doing good things, and that's what keeps me going. And so it's like, it's so inspiring to see people your age and that whole crew that we had the other night. I'm like, there is hope, and there's so much goodness out there, and you guys are so part of it. So, you know, I thank you so much for doing this with me today, and for, you know, being part of the Be Better movement that I'm starting. And it's just like, you guys you're amazing. So I'm so grateful for the connection from Sean last.
Oh my gosh.
He said come
know
to
when that was?
Louisiana,
That
and he
was
was absolutely right. So yeah. What was
8 months ago.
I know. But it's been wild. It's like, it's been a wild ride for you guys. So
Yeah.
but I cannot wait to watch more, and
Well,
you know.
let's watch more now.
All right.
Let's get some sound.
Wait, who are we playing here? Like what?
I remember I went.
Wait,
That's
who is
fun.
this?
this is
Sponsor
Chicago.
clothes.
Oh,
Yeah.
is this the super long one?
No.
That was in Manhattan.
No, this one went through.
They had two super long ones.
This one,
Okay.
in Chicago is when we went long with April and Alex.
Right.
Yeah.
That-
And then,
Okay.
I think it was the game after this, wasn't it? When we played April and Alex?
Yeah. That was nice.
Man. Gosh, I can't wait to play
I
this
can't
again.
imagine how excited
Can't
you
wait
are.
to compete.
Oh,
Nice set, Kristen.
Oh, so
Gosh.
good.
you.
But no,
All
seriously,
right.
thank
All right.
you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
mean, yeah.
Thank you for
guys-
welcoming
Yeah,
us
you
to
guys are awesome.
California.
Yeah. I love giving you guys recommendations, and it's so fun to watch you have fun.
I went to
so.
the source again this
Oh,
morning.
good. Shout out to the source. The source, Brothers Burritos, and what else? The Robano.
Yeah.
Those are my three, like, constant. So it's been so fun to chat. I
Thank
hope
you.
the next time I see you will be in Louisiana. But
Have
yeah.
some handles.
Oh yeah, where can we find you guys? Thanks, Jay.
Instagram, tkloth10. And we always say this, but I truly do mean it. If you want to reach out, please just reach out. Like, we are not
cool-
scary. We are like,
Coolest thing about the world.
I
If-
want to
yeah.
help
Yeah.
where I
Oh,
can. So.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
same exact thing. think mine is Instagram at Kristen_Nuss. And then we also, if people want to like follow our team, we have a team Facebook, which is just at TK and Tandem.
And Instagram.
And an Instagram too.
Yeah. And we have a website, if you just
our website, tkandvball.com.
That's right.
We write some blogs just kind of talking about each tournament that we go. We go every other and just kind of like our experience throughout it and just
like our perspective from
Huge.
like different things like that.
Well, that's all the stuff I'm so excited to link up with Be Better. And you guys, they're going to be able to find you on our site too as featured athletes. So we'll put all this in the show notes because there's lots of great places to find you, and you guys are so accessible, and it's so amazing for younger players. So thank you for being that way. That's really cool. Absolutely. And thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for the What I Meant to Say podcast. For more real conversations like this one, come on over to the Be Better community at www.bebetterwithwendyjones.com. A place for athletes and parents to grow and find meaning behind what we do every day so that we can be strong on our own and better together.